Live from New York. It's a show that's reminding you. It's a bad look to talk trash to your coworkers. But your sibling, they say anything they want. It's first things first. Today, go. Is it time to reevaluate Josh Allen, Nick? It doesn't seem like a good question for you per se.
Do I need to reevaluate him?
Well, good. That's the question.
No, I don't think I need to reevaluate him. The rest of America might. Wildes, I have how many types of opinions?
You have three basic opinions. Right? Eventually right?
Yep. And
dead wrong.
Dead wrong, exactly. Everybody wanted the Josh Allen take to be a Category 3. There aren't many, so I understand why people want it. The dead wrong.
That might be one.
But
it was full.
But it is undeniably my favorite kind. It's a Category 2. You guys so badly wanted Allen Mahomes to be Brady Manning, but it's Brady Rivers. You guys so badly wanted to pretend the Bills were some supernova, but they're just a falling star.
Oh.
That was in an AFC title game and got blown out. Then in a fun round 2 game that they lost. And then a not fun round 2 game that they got blown out. And now they're sitting at 5-5. Folks got in serious arguments and pounded the table saying Josh Allen is the best player in the league.
I don't know if anyone said. I don't know.
Who said that?
Well, I'm so glad you guys say that. Let's see who all said it. We can rip it from the headlines. Chris Sims, Josh Allen is the best player in football. He said it last March, last August, and into October. Who's next? Our own Fox Sports. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, competing to be quarterback of their generation. Spoiler alert, Fox Sports, I think someone won.
Friendly fire there.
That's fine. I like Henry, but hey, he wasn't the only one. My dear friend, Syracuse alum, WAR Hall of Famer, Adam Shine. Early truths. Josh Allen is better than Patrick Mahomes. What about your buddy, Kyle Brandt? What did he say? Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes, better than Brady Manning. You see, because they're both all-time legends. They're both generational talents. No. And the guy who was very commonly called the modern-day Brett Favre by some, I'm not going to name names,
said that.
but right there. And it's Brett Favre without the rings, the MVPs, or the scandal, sure. But then if you're that, what are you? You're Dante Culpepper. And there's nothing wrong being Dante Culpepper. Dante Culpepper also had a year. Well, he got hurt. I'm the pre-injury Dante Culpepper is what I meant. No, pre-injury with super high highs, super low lows. Guys, you can all reevaluate it. But I have been on this ride for 4 years, and I know what it is. It is, and we'll show you maybe for the last time, because at this point it seems mean. It's just a roller coaster, guys.
This is a take that you've consistently said.
I will give you this.
And so, I don't need to reevaluate him, Brew. Would you like to?
No, because I have said, I stand by saying he's Brett Favre. Now, maybe Brett Favre posts 3 straight MVPs.
Minnesota Vikings.
But that's still, because he played a long time in Green Bay still after the MVPs.
Okay, sure.
3 straight MVPs, didn't win a Super Bowl. And I think he still possibly could win a Super Bowl.
I do too, actually.
Yeah, what Josh Allen is a stick of dynamite. He's explosive, could be for good, could be for bad.
Highway.
And I think the analogy that I see in another sport is Russell Westbrook. He's a spectacle. Like, he will have you saying, wow, 1 minute, and then throwing your arms up like, oh my gosh, in disgust the next minute. He does things that I wouldn't go as far as to say don't think were possible, but things that just are like, my goodness, he's the only one who can do that. He still, as with all the hand wringing, Josh Allen still leads the league in touchdowns. What? That's the point of the game, to score touchdowns.
No, the point
He's
of the game
got 26 of them.
But
I'm just saying, you win by scoring.
I get it, sure.
Like, we can't act like, he's a joke. He's not any good.
Well, I don't think anybody's arguing that.
He's still incredibly good. He's just incredibly volatile. And what I question, and again, this is not new for me, but I wonder, the best quarterbacks, you guys have heard me say this, the best ones do it with their mind. Now, they've obviously got great physical ability too, but a Tom Brady, a Joe Montana, a Peyton Manning, a Joe Burrow.
Patrick Mahomes.
As great as he is physically, is still very cerebral.
Yeah, he was,
like, those are the quarterbacks that separate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, does Josh Allen have the decision-making ability and the leadership also? Because I'm tired of seeing him in press conferences and it looks like a funeral and sounds like a funeral. And so he's got to be a better leader as well. Now, he's not there right now. He's only 27. Can he get to the point where his decision-making is better?
27, I mean, 27's young.
He might have 10 more years as a good quarterback.
His style, I think, it's more likely to be closer to 5, but I don't think it's over
only
for him.
5 years left.
Peak
I
years?
mean, if he's Cam Newton.
What about Jimmy Garoppolo? I mean, you said he was done at 35.
Well, Jimmy's bones were fragile. Jimmy's bones were. I mean, he only had 2 full seasons. It just is what it is.
All right, so here's the problem, Brew. If Josh Allen doesn't want to listen to Nick Wright in his roller coaster analogy, so be it. If Josh Allen doesn't want to listen to his own coach, Ken Dorsey, who's just been fired, so be it. But when the greatest quarterback of all time gives you straight up, cogent analysis and advice, and you throw it in the garbage, it feels unwise. Take a listen to Tom Brady and Josh Allen, right to him. Okay, Josh, yeah, I'm not going to do that. It's just the turnovers. So this is what kind of frustrated me about, I feel like, I mean, Ken Dorsey, was he great? Probably not. Did he deserve the lion's share of the blame? No, because this offense looks pretty good. He's not being sacked. Third down percentage is great. Touchdowns obviously good.
A lot of the metrics are really good.
The turnovers are the worst in the league, and they're 2 and 4.
And so, and by the way, that is not new to Ken Dorsey. We can show you, and people got mad at me for pointing this out last night, but it's just simply the facts. Most interceptions since. Pick the year. Since he came into the league, the most interceptions. All right, throw out his rookie year, then it's most interceptions. All right, what about since he got good? It's most interceptions. What about since Dable's their most interceptions? What else since Dable left? It's the most. And so it's obviously problematic. And I would argue that the Bills, some people overrated their talent to begin with. But even if those people were right, the defensive injuries may have stopped this team from being a true contender. But that's not why they're 5-5.
That's right.
They could have had all of the same issues and would be 8-2 and in first place in the AFC if against Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and the all of a sudden maybe a little resurgent Russell Wilson and Broncos. Josh didn't have in those games 9 turnovers. It was the Zach Wilson game. I understand you thought you were going to be in a shootout against Aaron Rodgers. You weren't.
Yeah.
The Patriots had just gotten throttled in back-to-back weeks. You gave them life with the pick on the very first play of the game. And then yesterday, I know the first turnover wasn't on Josh, and because it was a fumble. And the second turnover, if we want to say that was through a receiver's hands, and it was also a laser, as Wildes pointed out, but it was through the receiver's hands. But this is where Coach Mangini is 100% correct. When he's like, if you give a guy applause for a bad decision when it works out, you have to wear it. When it doesn't, you can't get mad at him. Yeah. That play at the end of the first half is the type of play he gets applause for. Oh, my God, look at that throw. Oh, look, but instead he got bit on it. And then, where I don't know if I agree with you, Brew, on the leadership stuff. I think that's hard to determine. Obviously, he's not connecting with Stephon Diggs, it would appear, but I don't know about that. But he doesn't have a steady hand, figuratively or literally. When the wheels started coming off, he couldn't execute a handoff.
That was weird.
That was one of the oddest. That wasn't an RPO.
And there were a few times that they didn't fumble.
I would just ask this before we move on, just quickly. As the Bills appear to be entering a different era or different phase, what's the pinnacle? What's the highlight, the peak?
I know you always
of
said
this
it, but
last
the game they lost
decade?
to the Chiefs.
I know, you called that early.
They lost to the Chiefs.
If it has to be a win, it's the game before blowing out the Patriots in the. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that was so easy. Honestly, it's better.
The pinnacle of this last half decade was a game they lost.
Yeah.
And they're we're hanging.
But that's how it is for everyone who's not a champion. The pinnacle may have been getting to the Super Bowl. You didn't win it.
No, I agree,
To
but
this
it's
point,
usually
the pinnacle
not.
for Kyle Shanahan is getting to the Super Bowl.
But your best moment was in a loss.
I'm talking about the best moment for the player.
That postseason, Josh Allen was
Well, that's
tremendous.
just 2 games. It's just 2 games.
Well,
it's the Patriot game and that
9
one.
touchdowns,
Yeah.
0 interceptions.
You don't have to count. All right, let's revisit the end of the game. I would not mention the practicing part. This end of the game loss is on who?
Sean McDermott. I mean, the players obviously, I believe him. They practiced it. You shouldn't have had 12 out there. But my thing is, they knelt down 3 straight plays. You knew they were setting up for a field goal. Everybody watching
And
the
you
game,
took
everybody in the
timeouts to be
stadium
able to talk
knew.
about it.
Right. So my point is, you should have had your field goal block team in, which isn't like a horrible defensive team, like, oh my gosh, if they run something, we're in trouble. You should have had them in for at least the last kneel down, if not the one before that. And so it shouldn't have been scramble mode, okay? So that's why I put it on McDermott and the coaching staff. And I think it was a good move to get rid of Dorsey. I think something had to be done. And I tell you what, if they don't turn it around and make the playoffs, then I think the next move should be McDermott.
Well, he's running out of scapegoats. Yeah. Leslie Frazier steps away. You fire Ken Dorsey. Yeah, last house on the left is his own, and that's what he's trying to avoid. And so here's the thing. You guys know I felt, and this was another thing I said, that people were like, you're picking on the Bills, but I meant it. I thought Ken Dorsey's tantrum 3 games into his career as an offensive coordinator was a canary in the coal mine. Job might be a little too big for you. Just might be. I have a general rule of thumb, which is if at work you're throwing things and breaking things, you're either, going through some things, need to step away, or the job's too big for you.
You did come into my office and kick my chair.
I do that all the time, but that's because I'm going through some things. I'm self-aware. And so I understand
This
in
is
sports,
ridiculous.
people are like, it's sports, it's different. But with that said, obviously, Ken Dorsey's job, Brew, is not special teams coordinator. It's not defensive coordinator. And if they don't have 12 guys on the field, is he fired today? No.
No, he's not.
And so that part makes it seem a little odd. I don't want to say unfair, but a little odd. I also, at some point, I don't know what NFL team's going to do it, but at some point when there is a team in a situation like the Bills were in 2 years ago, where you have a defensive-minded head coach you like and an offensive coordinator you love who's going to leave for another job, there's going to be a team that fires their head coach to keep their OC and promote him. We've never seen it.
We thought that was like a Kellen Moore thing.
Right, but that was when people were maybe a little unsure about McCarthy. I'm talking about McDermott people loved.
Yeah.
And I think that is at some point going to happen because the Bills, whatever you think of Daboll, they clearly think they miss him. And whatever you think of Daboll, the head coach, and Josh, if you look at his entire career from college to now, the time he has had the least trouble with the head-scratching plays were the 2 years under Brian Daboll.
Okay. Let's take a look at the Bills' schedule. It's going to get a little bit rough here. Jets, who already beat you. Then you're headed to Philadelphia. Then you get a little break, but you can prep for the go to Arrowhead, where we're beloved, bro. And then you're in Dallas.
Absolutely.
So that's rough. Nick, are you feeling at all optimistic?
No, they're going to miss the playoffs.
Okay.
They're going to miss the playoffs, and this is the point that I was trying to impress upon people when they were trying to microwave a Brady Manning style rivalry. A quick story, the Chargers, back when they were the San Diego Chargers, they had Phillip Rivers, they had LaDainian Tomlinson, they had a 4-year stretch where they averaged 12 wins a year. 4 years where they made the divisional round at least every single year. The next 8 seasons, they didn't hit 10 wins once. The next 8 seasons, they made the playoffs once. If you are in a conference and you are clearly not the team, that's the Chiefs, man, if you let someone else elbow you out of being the other team, which appears to be the Bengals, who might be in their own bit of an issue right now, you are fighting for your life every single year. And that's where the Bills have found themselves. Right now, Brew, if you were to you'd need to offer me 3-1 for me to think the Bills are going to sneak into the playoffs. I think they're cooked.
I don't. Right now, they're 10th in the AFC. Yeah. I don't have them making the playoffs. When you look at that schedule, I can easily see
4 more losses.
4 losses.
Yeah,
I mean, look, Philly, Kansas City, Dallas, and Miami. Now, maybe they win one of those.
Sure.
But maybe they lose to the
Jets and Pats.
Right. Some of the other games they'll lose, but I don't think they'll lose a second.
We will not beat them.
Well, what I will say is this about the Jets game. I'm not even questioning Buffalo's mental toughness. I don't think they're mentally tough. And so I wonder how they're going to respond to this loss. Dorsey being fired, they might respond positively to that, getting a new OC. That's the hope, of course. But they could go out there and lose to the Jets.
They could win 7-3 though.
7-3 still.
The score could be 7-3.
If they lose 4 games, that's 9 losses. They're done. If they lose 3, they still are 9-8.
That won't get you in. I think there's going to be in the AFC a 10-7 team left out. I think 10-7 will be good enough to make it for some teams. But by the way, a team that is fighting to get to 10-7 themselves, Cincinnati, has the tiebreaker with Buffalo. Yeah. That's the only team Cincinnati has the tiebreaker.
They're in trouble.
All right, let's go to rosier pasture. Brew? Are your Broncos back? Are they still your Broncos?
No, he abandoned them.
Yeah,
he's about to reclaim them.
I'll take
Look at him. Now he's about to reclaim them. They're Greg Jennings Broncos.
I did abandon them. But they got a long way to go. They're 14th right now in the AFC, 16 teams, obviously. So they got a long way to go. But look at their schedule.
They're in the mix.
There's no world beater on their schedule. They got Minnesota, Cleveland, Houston, the Chargers, Detroit, New England, the Chargers, and the Raiders. They beat a couple of them. We thought Buffalo was the world beater. They beat the Chiefs.
But they don't have any juggernaut.
Right, there's nobody you're like, they got no The top tier teams we've talked about, they don't play any of them.
Detroit,
and defensively,
they've been different.
Since giving up the 70, they lead the league in takeaways with 15. And the last 4 games, that's a month. And they played Patrick Mahomes twice and Josh Allen once, and they've given up an average of 16
They're in the mix.
A game. That would be like 4th in the league over the whole year. And then Russell Wilson, look, it doesn't feel like he's playing lights out.
Because he's not.
But when you look at the numbers, these numbers are great. 4th in the league in passer rating. First in the league in TD percentage, 18 touchdowns. There's like 1 or 2 quarterbacks with more touchdowns. And only 4 picks. He is playing well. Look at these plays, Nick, quickly. We talked about the touchdown pass, but look at this little shovel pass. That was a tremendous play. He had a couple of off-script plays that were great. And then, of course, the pass to Sutton in the corner of the end zone. Great catch, but also a great play.
The pass at the end of the game was a bad pass that they were bailed out on, as Wildes and I think simultaneously tweeted the best play in sports.
Right, it happens a lot.
He's 200 yards per game passing. He is clearly better than he was last year. I think there are 2 things happening. One is Sean Payton is coaching like he doesn't trust him yet, which is understandable.
But that's okay.
And I get.
But that's kind of how they've gone more to Seattle.
Absolutely right. The Seattle way, which I think is smart. I also think Russ can throw a few more picks possible because I think he is taking some bad sacks. I don't want to say it's necessarily to protect his stats, but he is. I don't know if he is right now playing the most selfless brand of quarterback. So I think there's going to be a ceiling on it. I think the numbers are inflated to the level that he's played, but they are in the mix.
Yeah.
I walked into Wilde's office today and I was like, to me, you can put the NFL teams into 3 categories. The 6-win or more teams, they are definitively some level of good. Good to excellent, somewhere on that. The 3-win or less teams, they are definitively bad.
Yeah.
All of the 4 or 5-win teams, they're in the mix.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're just right there. It's like, and you can't. It's not fair to be like that. The Broncos at 4-5, having played the Chiefs twice, with having gone through somewhat of a tough schedule, they're frauds because at the beginning of the year they looked like frauds. They are decidedly in the mix, which is the best you could say about the Broncos since Peyton was there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the truth. So I give him credit. I think Sean Payton is coaching around his quarterback to a degree and getting the most out of it.
He's
no interceptions, 3 games. So
yeah. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.